Well, hello there. My name is Lucy, and this is episode 4 of the OUTRIDERS Broadcast. If you've been following these shows over the past few months, you'll know that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Outriders. With all of the features and systems under the hood of the game, we never really struggle for content when it comes to making these shows. However, we can say that Broadcast 4 is a particularly big one, so buckle up.
Today, we have a Technomancer class spotlight, a brand new chunk of gameplay to showcase Expeditions, our post-campaign content, a first look at Hell's Rangers.
And of course, we cannot end the show without our regular Q&A segments. Whew, okay, take a breather. That's a lot to get through. So, we're going to kick things off. In the last broadcast, we unveiled the Technomancer for the first time. Go and check out the Become Terror trailer if you missed it. But we only really showed you a glimpse of what the class is capable of. Today, we are going down the rabbit hole and detailing exactly what you can expect if you choose the tech conjuring powerhouse that is the Technomancer. See you back here in a few.
Greetings, Outriders! Welcome back to our Spotlight series, where we deep dive on an individual aspect of the game. Today, we scope out our fourth and final class, the Technomancer. ENIX Anomaly Storms might have fried tech for everyone else, but they unleashed abilities for the Technomancer to infuse powers into weaponry at their will. Thus, this class can exploit technology to the most brutal capacity.
I have become terror.
You can't find
The unseen predator.
You can't find before.
A rupture that obliterates without warning.
Who is this class for? Technomancers will appeal to a huge spread of players, simply thanks to their enormous versatility. However, the Technomancer's skill set will be utilised best by players who pay special attention to the flow of combat, beyond just raw damage. The status effects that Technomancers can inflict, as well as their boss skill interrupts and their unique ability to heal squad mates, mean that they are suited to fill in support roles. That's not to say Technomancers can't bring the pain. Packing an arsenal of weaponry and their summoning abilities, combined with a strong focus on sniper rifles, mean that they are the ideal class for any players intended to lone wolf their way through ENIX. Fundamentals. Technomancers focus their powers around summoning and indirect sources of damage and effects. Spearheading this playstyle are 3 core tenets: Ordnance, Gadget, and Decay. Their unique melee power inflicts the freeze status effect onto those hit by it. Freeze stops an enemy in its tracks, allowing you and your squad mates to focus fire on them. Healing. As we've mentioned in the other class spotlights, the main way to regain health is not via potions or spells, but by playing aggressively. In the Technomancer's case, they recover a portion of the damage they deal to enemies as health. They're a true vampire leech. However, the Technomancer's class passives also increase their damage outputs for both long-range weapons and anomaly power, making sure that the Technomancer's healing passive stays on par with the other classes. Powers. Each Outriders class has 8 powers in total. You'll start with a single power and will unlock more as you level up. Let's check out 5 of the abilities Technomancer has in their collection. Power 1, Tool of Destruction. Question: do you prefer to riddle your enemies with bullets or turn them into a puff of red smoke? Well, why not both? With Tool of Destruction, you can change your preference whenever you want to. See, Tool of Destruction works a little differently to other skills in Outriders, in that it has alternate modes. Activating the skill via button press equips your Technomancer with a rocket launcher, but activating the skill by holding down the button will instead equip a minigun. However, the rocket launcher has the added bonus of interrupting enemies it damages. Let's watch that clip again. That orange bar means an enemy is charging up a skill, but the RPG interrupts them, preventing them from casting it. Which, particularly when going toe-to-toe with bosses and captains, can mean the difference between victory and a team wipeout. Power 2. Fixing Wave. For those of you who prefer to play as support or healer to your mates, first of all, you're awesome, the world needs more of you. Secondly, Fixing Wave may just be your skill of choice. Fixing Wave is a skill design exclusive to the Technomancer, and is the only power in Outriders that can restore health back to yourself, your constructs, and your allies, regardless of distance. Power 3. Pain Launcher. This is one of a number of the Technomancer's construct skills, and will create an automated defense device to damage enemies independently. Conjuring a missile launcher, this will engage in artillery-esque carpet bombing to not only damage enemies, but interrupt them as well. Bear in mind this gadget has a slight setup delay, so you'll need to tactically time it well. But if you pull it off, you can expect to create some awesome combinations with Pain Launcher. Power 4. Blighted Turrets. More of a relentless, continuous damage type of person. Q Blighted Turret, a skill that places, yeah, you guessed it, an automated turret. But not only does this weaponry pour lead into your foes, it also inflicts the status condition Toxic. This deals damage over time and can be used to whittle down their health with hit and run tactics. You could use your turrets offensively through strategic placements to bolster your damage output, such as by flanking enemies. Alternatively, you could drop a turret while falling back to a better position, and it will keep your enemies occupied while you get ready to form your next plan of attack. Power 5. Cold Snap. Cold Snap is a large area of effect skill that will freeze all enemies in place. In an offensive scenario, you can use Cold Snap to wreak havoc with your other skills or regular weapons, especially if you manage to catch enemies when they're clumped together. Defensively, Cold Snap will help you prevent melee attackers from swarming you and getting too close. This is particularly useful for players who prefer sniper rifles and long-range combat. And bear in mind, the Technomancer will feature 3 more powers on top of these first 5. Endless opportunities for computer-based carnage. Power combos. The wide range of powers in Outriders gives so much scope for mixing and matching different combinations. Let's check out one example. So, say you're a lone wolf Technomancer being chased by a group of Porphyro. Using Cold Snap will freeze the enemies in place, buying you time to retreat and throw a Blighted Turret in their midst. While they're distracted and getting toxified, initiate Tool of Destruction to conjure a minigun and mow down any stragglers. Alter your Technomancer. Each class has a tree of class point nodes that you can activate to alter the way your build and skills work. Class points are acquired by leveling up. You can't fill out the class tree entirely, but you will be able to respec your nodes to mix up your playstyle. And there are no costs or penalties. Respec your tree at any time. The 3 branches for the Technomancer are as follows: Pestilence, Tech Shaman, and Demolisher, with each branch providing both major and minor passives that affect your character's type of damage focus and survivability. The Pestilence branch flows best with your decay skills and weapons. It's all about increasing the damage you do with guns and provides great bonuses, particularly to sniper rifles or assault rifles. The Tech Shaman is more focused around indirect damage and will boost your turrets, freeze effects, and healing. Notably, the overclocked passive node here will increase your damage significantly whenever you activate gadget skills, but it will also grant you a second chance. The Demolisher path will synergize with the greatest amount of your skills, and nodes here will mean that using your ordnance or gadget skills will impart a host of bonuses and buffs to you, as well as boost your toxic effect damage. Notably, this path also has a node, which will inflict toxic on all enemies that you freeze with your melee attack. As well as this, the equipment you use might also influence the way your skills work. The equipment passives might reduce the cooldown or duration of a skill, or they might alter it on a more fundamental level. And there we have it, an introduction to the Outriders tech whiz, but probably not the one you'd want to help set up Grandma's new phone. This was our fourth and final class, but do check out the other spotlights on Trickster, Pyromancer, and Devastator if you haven't already. So that you don't miss any upcoming videos, make sure you subscribe and have notifications turned on. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That is actually the last of our class spotlight videos, but if you have missed any of them along the way, the Trickster, Pyromancer, Devastator, and now Technomancer videos are all up on the Outriders YouTube channel for you to peruse at your leisure. And hopefully that gives you everything you need to make an informed decision about which class you're going to play at release. Let us know what you're going to play as. Me, I'm Trickster. Trickster all the way. Okay, this next part of the broadcast is dedicated to something we have been asked about pretty much non-stop throughout. The post-campaign content of Outriders. Yes, we're finally talking about it. Today we are lifting the lid on expeditions for the first time, the high-end content that you'll be able to jump into once the main campaign is wrapped up. Be warned, expeditions aren't for the faint of heart, throwing the fiercest and most brutal adversaries ENIX has to offer straight at you. Thankfully, fierce and brutal loot is also on offer by means of reward. So to explain this more, I'm going to pass over to the capable hands and dulcet tones of Sven with some fresh, new gameplay.
Thanks, Lucy, and hello, lovely people. Okay, so you just spent the last 40 hours finishing the epic story campaign, build a badass character, and you're pretty confident that you can handle everything this wicked world throws at you. But you're also aware that Outriders is a complete experience, straight out of the box, and doesn't have any live service elements. So, now what? Fear not, Outriders, we got you. Your job on ENIX is far from over. We don't want to go into any story spoilers, but for reasons that will become clear, mysterious points of interest have appeared across ENIX. New mysteries and stories are all waiting to be discovered, precious resources allowing for even more powerful gear. This is the place where advanced players really get to test their skills. It's a vicious but highly addictive post-campaign mode we call Expeditions. Check it out, this is how it works. After finishing the main storyline, you'll find yourself in a new camp. Among some other additions, you will notice a new station, with a map showing many new areas for you to explore. Oh, and yes, it's pretty important to point out that you won't play any recycled content from the main campaign. Expeditions are big, handcrafted new levels with their own mechanics, challenges, and storyline. Before you start an expedition, you will notice the introduction of challenge tiers. It's pretty straightforward. The faster you are able to clear a mission, the richer the rewards. One important thing has changed though. You won't get any direct loot from your enemies. Instead, you'll receive all your rewards at the end of an expedition, if you manage to complete it. Don't worry though, we won't leave you completely empty-handed even if you fail all your attempts. In this example, you can score a good chunk of epic and rare loot, plus 3 new tiers. That's because we picked the highest at this moment available tier. You can always go lower to one of the previous unlocked tiers if you feel your strategy or build isn't quite ready yet. To be more precise, your newly earned tiers are needed for 2 things. First, tiers progression unlocks new locations for your team to discover. Unlocking all 15 of them will grant you access to the final expedition, the Eye of the Storm. Second, and similar to our world tier system, selected challenge tiers also determine the difficulty of a mission. Here's the kicker. When we release Outriders, your maximum character level is 30, but your weapons and gear can reach up to level 50 in expeditions. Choosing a challenge tier level will show you the expected enemy level, which is also the same level range of the loot you will receive at the end of a mission. So before you head into an expedition, make sure to adjust your strategy and equipment accordingly. There's no other way to go about this. Expeditions are tough. No, wait, let me rephrase that. Expeditions are brutal, but for good reason. This content is intended for battle-hardened Outriders who really want to get creative with the nitty and gritty details of specialized character builds. Feeling like a well-tuned demigod? Then this is the place for you. But you might want to bring some demigod co-op friends along as well. You'll need them. No matter how strong and well-trained you think you are when you head into expeditions for the first time, you will need to become much more if you want to even reach the ultimate challenge. Stoked yet? Good. Before we dive more into expeditions though, we must first touch on another exciting subject that is heavily linked to this game mode. It's one of the most compelling and important core features of Outriders: modding, crafting, and everything in between. Upgrading and modifying your gear is an integral part of Outriders and gives you unparalleled freedom to strive for that perfect build. Dedicated players can experiment with a myriad of combinations to maximize and adapt their effectiveness for any given challenge. It's the foundation for countless hours of fun, and in the case of expeditions, even mandatory for survival. Let's talk about mods first. Mods are passive skills that can significantly alter the way your weapons, armor, or abilities work. For instance, they can add effects to your gunplay irrespective of your class, sticking your enemy with a nasty status effect like freeze, bleed, weaken, toxic, and many more. With rare and specialized mods equipped, you can even get a taste of the powers of a whole different class. For example, Golem's Limp is a legendary shotgun. It will grant its wielder the Devastator's Golem skin for 3 seconds after every killing shot, in this case helping out a Pyromancer. Or maybe you get lucky and find this little gem, which takes a page from the Trickster's book about bending time and space. This mod will hit your opponent with a slow effect like the Trickster's melee attack, but here we see a Technomancer making use of it. So broadly speaking, we're looking at 2 types of mods. General mods, as just described, can be applied to boost or alter how your weapons and armor work. But we also have skill mods, which are class specific. Those bad boys can amplify and change any of your 8 anomaly-infused powers per class, and can only be applied to armor. Like giving a Trickster a second temporal slice. Or how about increasing the damage, radius and ammo of your Technomancer's rocket launcher? By equipping the Spike Forest mod, a Devastator is able to stick his worries on much more than just one skewer. All our mods are segmented into 3 tiers, and you're able to collect them by dismantling the found gear that holds them. The rarity of a piece will determine what mod tier and amount of mods it might spawn with, except for our legendary gear, which has dedicated mods that can only be found on these specific items. These would be the mods in the tier 3 category, for instance. So far so good. Now here's a really cool thing. Once collected, you can apply and mix-match your mods however you want. Let's say you went through hell and back on a challenge, got lucky and walked away with the legendary assault rifle Absolute Zero. Yes, it absolutely wreaks havoc, and freezing bullets are awesome. But you know what's even more awesome? Exactly, frozen enemies that get struck by lightning. So let's get to it. Luckily I found a legendary weapon called Thunderbird earlier in the game. And with my much higher level now, I decided to dismantle it and go for the mods. Quick piece of intel though. If a weapon already has 2 mods slotted, you can only change one of those 2 mods. Now let's select the Ultimate Stormwhip mod, the one we scored earlier from the Thunderbird, and a slot on the weapon with the mod we want to replace. Now all we have to do in order to get this new dream weapon build is to spend a little of our resources. In this case, 396 iron. Beautiful. And this is just one little example how you can alter and upgrade every single piece of gear in Outriders. So what else can we do on this crafting table? Improve rarity lets us improve the primary parameters of every item that isn't epic or legendary. That's firepower for weapons and armor for your wearables. By the way, hovering over the crafting options will reveal a color code explaining what rarity is needed for each craft. Here we look at unusual, rare, epic, and legendary. Next up, swap variant. Here you can alter how your weapon fires and behaves in the field. Each weapon offers different variants depending on the type of weapon. You can unlock even more variants as your character level progresses. And last but not least, level up. Which is pretty much as straightforward as it sounds. Similar to improved rarity, raising a level of your equipment will boost firepower or armor. I think it's pretty obvious now. If you're really into tinkering with your equipment, Outriders will give you a lot of creative freedom to do just that. With about 350 individual mods across weapons, armor and skills, players have a lot of possibilities to experiment and home in on that perfect build. Also keep in mind, everything we just saw in the crafting department is directly linked to this. Fine-tuning your skills and equipment in conjunction with the skill tree. A skill tree that you can respec at any time without any cost. And this is where things really get interesting. Makes you wonder how deep this rabbit hole goes, doesn't it? Expeditions will challenge you and your team not only on a skill level, but also on how well your builds are tuned and in sync with another. That's why going deep into customization aspects of Outriders is not only super fun, but also vastly improves your lifespan on Enoch in general. Tune and optimize your skill tree for the challenge ahead, and find effective ways to complement the available powers from your Outrider squad mates. Especially when you want to take on higher world tiers in a story campaign, for instance. Okay, we covered crafting and upgrading your gear. Let's talk a little bit more about expeditions. As I said in the beginning, all of our expeditions are big, bespoke new levels in the game. And we have 14 of them ready for you to conquer when we ship on February 2nd, 2021. Of course we want to leave the excitement and fun of exploring these new areas for you. But hey, let's take a quick peek, shall we?
I've sensed a deep, humming noise reverberating from deep within the forest. It comes and goes, but during our journey it has grown louder. And next to this gate, it is more piercing than ever. Outrider, I need to know the cause of this.
Tiago was right about that hum. My teeth are chattering from the vibration. Strange structure. Some kind of switch over there. Nice view. An obelisk mechanism in the middle. Could be the way forward.
We can't wait for you and your friends to face ENIX Ultimate Challengers. I hope you liked what you saw, and as always, stay safe out there and take care of each other. Sven out.
Thank you, Sven. Now, before we pass the mic to Robbie for the community Q&A, we wanted to share a first proper look at the Hells Rangers content pack. I did say content pack. Hear me out. So we have always maintained that Outriders is a complete experience in the game. You don't pay any microtransactions, whether it's items or gear or even the lore, it's all in the game. And that is still true, all right? However, we had to offer up something cool for people who are pre-ordering the game. So if you do pre-order Outriders, you will receive the Hells Rangers content pack for free. And later down the line, if you didn't pre-order and you feel like you missed out, you can purchase it separately. However, look me in the eye on this one, I wouldn't lie to you. You do not receive any special advantage. You don't get a special ability. It's not pay to win. All it does is make you look metal AF. It just looks really cool, all right? The centerpiece of the Hells Rangers pack is an ornate Cerberus decal, which can adorn your Outriders truck. On top of this, there are 2 Hells Rangers gear sets for both Outriders body types, complete with a particularly fetching face covering and biker jacket. Finally, there's not 1, not 2, not 3, okay, let's skip ahead, we're going to be here a while, but 11 Hells Rangers weapons, 1 for each gun type in the game. Cool, right? And just to reiterate, this is available now to anyone who pre-orders Outriders. Oh, and if you're wondering whether to buy it on this current generation of consoles or you want to wait till next gen, we will be offering a free upgrade to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So you can be confident in whatever you choose. Okay, we are approaching time on Broadcast 4, but we still have a plethora of shiny news nuggets to leave you with before we sign off. So, Robbie, I call you forward, come and answer the questions of the community. What is a shiny news nugget?
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special Outriders Quickfire Q&A. This broadcast, we're answering some big questions, so buckle up in your convoy and get ready for some big answers. Will Outriders support crossplay? Yes, we are excited to confirm that Outriders will fully support crossplay, meaning you will be able to explore ENIX with any of your friends on any other platform.
What is the release date for Outriders? Outriders is now coming out February 2nd, 2021 on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC. Stadia will be coming a little later in 2021.
Why are there 4 classes but only groups of 3 players? So we did test different amounts of players in co-op, but 3 was the perfect max player sweet spot for balancing optimization and visibility. Especially with all the movement skills and visual effects from powers, when playing with 4 people, things got way too chaotic and hard to read. Is Outriders a free-to-play game?
No, Outriders is a complete package. It's not games as a service and does not feature microtransactions. As Lucy mentioned earlier, the only content that isn't included in the game is the Hells Rangers content pack, which is free for anybody pre-ordering the game and will also be available in the storefronts post-launch.
Why are certain animations so short or subtle? Outriders is a game that's focused around frenetic skill plus speed, and our skills are designed and animated directly to play to that design. Big wind-up animations make sense for skills that are extremely powerful, but if you're looking to interrupt a boss to prevent your team being wiped, you will no doubt appreciate an immediate effect skill than something with a big song and dance to it.
Thanks to everyone that sent in their questions. Keep using the hashtag Outriders and stay tuned to our social channels for all the latest news on Outriders. Back to you, Lucy.
Thank you, Robbie, and thank you guys for watching. That is your lot for today, and we hope you leave knowing just that much more about Outriders. As mentioned, Outriders will be launching globally on February 2nd, 2021, and we cannot wait to join you on ENIX for the most aggressive shooter experience this genre has to offer. See you then.